Mike's Daily Podcast.
Episode 1100. No, wait. 1212. Oh my gosh, today is 1212. Isn't that a great Rush album? Oh wait, that's 2112. I rehearsed it or something. 1212 today, which I guess is a month in it's a day in December, and it's also today's episode. Hello,
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Mike Matthews, podcasting from Cafe Anyway, located somewhere in Podcastro Valley, Mont.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
On a Friday, and guess what surprise I got when I came to work today? There was that homeless guy who likes to go in there and spray his disgusting smells all over the bathroom. It happens every Friday. What can I do? I'll tell you what the building did. They changed every key on every lock yesterday.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
And this morning, he's in the bathroom, which has a key. It has a lock, so he somehow got a key and got in there
Podcast
since yesterday.
Yeah.
My coworker doesn't even have a key. How did he get in here? I spent about an hour this morning already trying to track down, figure out what's going on, how this guy is getting in here. I confronted the guy. I said, did you steal any keys? And he said, no. I'm like, what company are you with? He's like, I'm not with any company, sir. I'm like, well, what are you doing in here? And he said, well, I'm taking a... And then I left. The smells. And then I don't know this guy, and I don't want to get all in his face, and you wouldn't want to get in his face anyway because you'd go blind with the smells. So I don't know what is happening, but it's so freaking frustrating. I don't even own this building, and I'm frustrated because, well, I own Cafe Anyway, where we are right now. And people are about to walk in today, including, let's see, we got Shelly Schuhart? No, that was yesterday's show. Benita, the Disgruntled Fiddle Player, and the Brewmaster are stopping by today. And we're going to bring you the wonderful segment called Ain't Life Grand, where I saw a story. Oh, what do they have on? Oh, today, Walter Cronkite. It would have been his birthday today. Look who just walked in. Gosh, when I was a kid, I know I just put all you millennials to sleep. When I was a kid, he was on every morning when I got up. He was on right before Captain Kangaroo. And he kind of looked like Captain Kangaroo because he had the big mustache like Captain Kangaroo. But that was my childhood. And then my mom would bring me a bowl of cereal. Because apparently I didn't know how to make a bowl of cereal. I was that stupid. But I had a story to bring you during the segment 8 Life Grand that you may or may not find interesting about the FBI, which I was talking about. Last show, I got seriously just confused, befuddled. I got lost in the weeds, and I apologize, but that's just how it went last show. And look who else just walked in. Hi, Mike. It's Benita, the rodeo queen. How you doing?
That's a Disgruntled Fiddle Player, tell you what.
What?
Looks like somebody punched y'all in the face.
I actually have, I have a bloody lip, kind of. And it started a couple weeks ago. Trump supporters lit a truck on fire. What? Or no, Trump supporters' truck got lit on fire in Sacramento. Wow. Scary. And I was barbecuing some chicken, and I saw a piece of chicken there on the grill, and it was like a tiny piece, and I said, I'm going to stab it with this fork, this metal fork, and I'm going to take a bite out of it because it's lunch and I'm hungry. Yeah, I barbecue at lunchtime because I work early, so I get off early, so that's the only thing good about that. And so I took a bite, but the fork got too close to my, burnt my lip. So I've got it's trying to heal up, but the lip, especially my lip, it's constantly moving because I'm flapping my jaw all the time. Flapping my lips. Ow, that was hurt. Ow, painful. So I have a story about that. And then also, you've been hearing a lot about Huma Abedin. Uma, oh my God. This is a lovely lady. Sorry she had to go through the whole Anthony Weiner situation, but she has been a longtime Hillary Clinton aide, and she headlined a fundraiser for Hillary's campaign last night in D.C., the first time she's appeared on Clinton's behalf since last week's news that the FBI was taking steps to review new emails related to Clinton's private email server, and the Comey letter to Congress, which set all the conservatives' jaws a-flapping. Usually a frequent fixture by Clinton's side on the campaign trail, Thursday's fundraiser was the first time she had been on the campaign trail for her boss since last week. Clinton campaign aides confirmed she was working for the campaign's Brooklyn headquarters this week. Attending the fundraiser, which tickets ranged from $500 to $10,000. See, I would never go to a politician fundraiser, ever. I don't care how great politics corrupt people, and I don't feel like throwing my money into that. And then what's the return? You're in they're in your pocket because you gave them money? No, you'd have to give them a whole bunch of money. I just don't like the whole world of that. But there was Diane von Furstenberg there and other people.
And here's today's podcast picture.
And a Vogue editor-in-chief. I don't know anything about Vogue, but I know about the podcast picture today. It's not Uma Abedin. It is of... Alabama. That conservative bastion. They talk about Jesus all the time, and they got those cool twangy accents that I love. And I even adopted a twangy accent for a small time. It just seeps into your larynx when you're there. You get the accent going on. Start saying y'all. Mark does a great job doing a twangy accent. Southern accent, y'all. You said y'all. I did. Good job. Bye, I'm getting out of here. Oh.
Mark, tell you what, I think that Benita and I agreed that you do a great Southern accent, and that's a picture of the Von Braun Center.
Yeah, the Von Braun. Werner Von Braun had moved to the wonderful state of Alabama after World War II, worked on the Saturn rockets and other rockets in our rocket program. We had captured him from the Nazis, and he loved Alabama because it reminded him of Germany. And you know what? That's true, because I went to Germany while I lived in Alabama. I flew from Huntsville, Alabama to Germany, and by the time I got to Germany, when I got off the plane, I'm like, did we spend 12 hours and just fly around in a circle and land in Alabama? It looked exactly the same, and then I'd see a castle on a hill and go, oh, wait a minute, I'm in Germany, and people are talking the German, so I must be in the Germany. But yes, so that's a picture of the Big Spring, and Big Spring Park, and the Von Braun Center's right there. I used to love going there. And I'd walk around it, and there kind of wasn't much in the ways of walking paths. They were working on, they probably put a lot more in since I lived there, but when I came to the Bay Area, I was like, dang, there's walking paths and green belts and green paths, greenways everywhere you go, all kinds of walking paths. I like that. I like places with lots of that. But I didn't know you had walked in.
Hello, Mike. I make the root beer and the Brewmaster. Oh, boy.
Brewmaster, are you all excited about the election next Tuesday?
The what?
Election.
I make the root beer, y'all. Oh, boy.
Wow, you did a Southern accent, Disgruntled Fiddle Player.
Yeah, that's amazing.
All right, so Mike'sDailyPodcast.com, which has been recently redesigned slightly. I've moved some stuff around. Go to Mike'sDailyPodcast.com and you'll see the change. I'm going to do some more little changes and tweaks here and there, but it is a weird website in that the blog posts, I do have a little bit of a description of the podcast, and then I do repeat a bunch of links to where you can listen to the show and other places. I feel that you should be able to know. Like, if you go on Tumblr all the time, you can find me on Tumblr. If you go on Facebook, you can find me on Facebook. All these links I like to put in there, and there's a bunch of places you maybe didn't even know about. Like player.fm is a great podcast place, and podcasts.com and Google Play. All these links are on every single post that I do for each show. So that repeats on the page. I'm trying to think of a way to streamline that. But right now, this is the format I like. Maybe I'll come up with something interesting over the weekend. But you can see that at mikesdailypodcast.com if you'd like to help out the show. There's an Amazon link that's now on the right-hand side of the page. Click on that when you're going to buy anything. Or if you're looking at us through the phone, go to the bottom scroll down to the bottom and you'll find, or it's maybe like in the middle. You have to scroll down is all I know. And you'll see the Amazon link. Click on that and buy whatever it is you're going to buy on Amazon, and that helps us out. There's also the PayPal if you'd like to help support the show that way. You'll get a special greeting from all the Cafe Anyway characters. And finally, all the past interviews. I'm going to do an interview on Sunday with a band called Autopilot. They're from Canada, and they are coming to San Francisco soon. I will have the dates for when they're going to be in San Francisco, and you'll get to hear their music on that show sometime next week that I'll be playing back for you. It's all at mikesdailypodcast.com, and of course all the podcast pictures. And now the segment, Ain't Life Grand?
Ain't Life Grand?
I heard, was kind of down. You can't help, if you're wanting to vote Democrat this year, not get down with all the stuff about Hillary. But then you look at Trump and you're like, no, never. And the whole Republican thing of saying that there's all this voter fraud going on, and there's just no there, and they just want to, they're just totally rigging this to be, we're the most corrupted country, the corrupted election system, and it's just not there. And there is purging of election rolls, and people that think they're about to vote, they find out, I'm not on an election, I can't vote for the election, I'm not on a list. So just I say get your ballot mailed to you. I started that quite a few years ago. And that way I actually, I have the ballot in my hand. I don't mail it in. I could, but I just end up filling out the ballot at home and then going and dropping it off in the box. I take Basil for a walk. We walk together to the voting place, and by now the voting people, the balloteers or whatever you call them, they are like, look at the dog. So, and if Basil sees any of those Republican Trump-appointed voter observers around, he's going to bark at them. Because he's a good dog. Well, secret recordings of a suspect talking about the Clinton Foundation fueled an internal battle between FBI agents who wanted to pursue the case and corruption prosecutors who viewed the statements as worthless hearsay. People familiar with the matter said agents using informants and recordings from unrelated corruption investigations thought they had found enough material to merit aggressively pursuing the investigation into the foundation that started in the summer of 2015. Yes, the Clinton Foundation has not been around that long. Only over what? Wait, no, they're talking about the investigation. Based on claims made in a book by a conservative author called Clinton Cash, The Untold Story of How and Why Foreign Governments and Businesses Help Make Bill and Hillary Rich. Book titles have gotten so long, haven't they? The account of the case and resulting dispute comes from interviews with officials and at multiple agencies. Starting in February and continuing today, investigators from the FBI and public corruption prosecutors became increasingly frustrated with each other, as often happens within and between departments. At the center of the tension stood the U.S. Attorney for Brooklyn, Robert Capers, who some at the FBI came to view as exacerbating the problems by telling each side what it wanted to hear. Mr. Capers declined to comment. This in a story on the Wall Street Journal. A guy named Christopher M. Matthews wrote, we're not related, I don't think. The roots of the dispute lie in a disagreement over the strength of the case, these people said, which broadly centered on whether Clinton Foundation contributors received favorable treatment from the State Department under Hillary. Senior officials... Oh, Sean Hannity apologized for using fake news stories? Oh. That's surprising. We were talking about apologies and saying, I'm sorry, yesterday. And about how certain people running for president are not at all saying sorry. Senior officials in the Justice Department and the FBI didn't think much of the evidence, while investigators believed they had promising leads their bosses wouldn't let them pursue, they said. These details on the probe are emerging amid the continuing furor around FBI Director James Comey's disclosure to Congress that new emails had emerged that could be relevant to a separate